In the room, come on in the room. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Y'all get on in here. I know it's Sunday and I know it's pretty outside. It was pretty outside today, wasn't it, y'all? Y'all come on in here. Come on in here. Thank y'all for being in here. Y'all pump them hearts, pump them hearts, pump them hearts. Yes, get in here, get in here, get in here. Yes, we're gonna talk about this again. Part two. Part two. There's gonna be plenty more parts of this, okay, of this series because we just not gonna talk about it in the month of April. We're gonna keep right on talking about it because we need to. Y'all come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Your queen is up in his house on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let me get some drink. Throat itching, y'all. Hold on. On this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Sunday evening, y'all. And those that's gonna be in here, that's watching me live, thank y'all. Thank y'all for taking the time out on y'all Sunday evening to come up in here, and those that's gonna be come sliding through and watching the replay, y'all know I appreciate that too, right? Y'all know I do. You know I do. All right, so welcome, welcome, welcome to what Miss J's unfiltered talk show and podcast. Yes, yes. Thank y'all for being in here. And again, if you watching, you see that little red light blinking, blinking, blinking. You watching me live. If you slide through, you don't see no red light, just a blinking, 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 blinking. You're watching the replay, and I so appreciate y'all doing that. I'm gonna go ahead on and get started because a few minutes late, but it's okay. We're up in here. So, as you already know, so well, some of you may not know that April is sexual abuse and child abuse awareness and prevention month. Okay, but I said we're gonna continue to talk about this whether it be in April or not. And this is part two of my Unheard Voices series. And the reason that I called it Unheard Voices is because of this. A lot of our voices are not heard. A lot of our voices are not believed. Okay. But we're going to have a voice tonight. My guest tonight, we're going to have a voice tonight. And we want to keep this conversation going. Okay. So without further ado, she's my returning guest and Miss Marie Mckenzie. Excuse me. Um, I got to do this because y'all, I believe in just reading what I have in front of me for my guests. I'm sorry. All right. Once silenced by an aftermath of sexual assault, Marie Mckenzie has devoted her life to empowering women to overcome their own sexual assault triggers and find intimacy with their spouses. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? Oh, okay. Okay. Um, um, finding women to overcome their own sexual assault triggers and find intimacy with their spouses. Because of this, she founded the International Sexual Assault Recovery Institute. Okay. With over 2.5 decades of experience as a registered nurse, including her role as a sexual assault nurse examiner in the clinical and community settings, Marie blends her professional expertise with the tools and techniques that facilitated her own healing journey. Did y'all get that? Her mission is to reassure survivors that they are never alone and that the path to resolving their triggers is not only feasible but empowering. Marie Mckenzie is renowned for her award-winning and best-selling memoir, Things That Keep Me Up at Night. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight too, y'all. Marie chronicles her personal odyssey from sexual assault at the age of 11 to her triumph transformation. Her book serves as a beacon of hope, encouraging others to find their voices, share their stories, seek support, and embrace a life imbued with purpose. Marie doesn't shy away from her calling, proudly declaring, I guide women in conquering their sexual assault triggers and rekindling intimacy within their relationship. But when Marie is not working with women on their journey, she collaborates with various organizations dedicated to helping those affected by diverse traumas. She also enjoys the vibrant life of Orlando, Florida, alongside her husband, George. So now, with all that being said, yes, I did. I told y'all I was going to do it. With all that being said, y'all welcome up. Let's welcome up Miss Marie Mckenzie. Yes, yes. Welcome, love. Welcome, welcome, welcome in here.
Good evening,
Welcome.
good evening, good evening, Miss J. How are you today?
I am wonderful, sweetheart. I am wonderful. How are you feeling?
A little on the weather, but so happy to be here addressing this so important topic.
Thank you for being in here, sweetheart.
Yes, yes,
Thank you so much for being in here. I really appreciate it.
yes,
I
thank you.
really do. You under weather, but she's still in here, y'all. Thank you so much.
Yes, appreciate it.
So, as you heard me say, this is our part two. Um, what is your take on the part where do you do or don't you do agree about it's a lot of our voices are not heard, and
Yes.
what is your reason that you think some of it is?
Well, some survivors do not disclose, and some are not believed when they disclose.
Mm-hmm.
There is currently a documentary on Netflix, Victim Suspect. She disclosed her rape and she was arrested for filing a false report. And
What?
that is, yeah, that has happened many times. She was raped. Yes. It played out later on, but yes, she was arrested. And that has happened. There are some times when victims are encouraged by law enforcement not to move forward with the case for whatever reasons. I've heard that from survivors. I've never witnessed that myself, but I've heard it enough to know that there is truth to it. There are times when family members, it we don't want it to get out, they keep it in the family. So, and the sad thing about that is that the victims do not get the support. You grow up with that unresolved trauma because if you're going to keep it a secret, then most times they don't go for any counseling, coaching, or even medical support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
That's
that's
right.
very important to get medical support and mental health support because that helps in the survivor's healing journey.
What is your take on because I heard the word unresolved trauma. Let's talk about that a little bit. um in your opinion, do you feel like when a person have unresolved trauma, regardless whether it's SA, whether it's being physically abused, but do you agree that when a person have unresolved trauma, and okay, let me say, in your opinion, do you feel like when a person have unresolved trauma that they would never see? That's my word I'm using there. They would never get to the point where they forget it.
It's hard to say never,
Mm-hmm.
because from research, some memories are suppressed. So some people don't remember until maybe they're triggered. It's buried so
Wow.
deep because the body does certain things to protect itself. So it may suppress a traumatic memory. So, yeah,
Mm.
I wouldn't use the word never.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
because
having those,
there
go ahead.
research. Sorry, there's research where triggers can cause you to unearth memories even from childhood. Sometimes it comes in little pieces here and there,
Mm-hmm.
and then through therapy it's fit together, or sometimes it's just pieces not fit together because you've forgotten about it.
And the reason why I asked that, because I know someone just recently um had a situation where I guess they was, maybe you can answer this. She was having crying spells, and no, she's a SA survivor. Okay, she's an SA survivor, but she couldn't understand where it was coming from. And is that what you see a lot when people? I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't understand. But something had to happen, right?
Yes, and there are different things that may cause that. Have heard that from others. Something I hear a lot of time from survivors of different kind of trauma, not necessarily sexual assault, but I've heard it from sexual assault survivors until they explore through therapy or through coaching and uncover that it's linked to trauma, past trauma that has been unresolved.
And I'm thinking, I feel like when we are walking around with unresolved trauma, I think that makes for a chaotic life.
It can because it affects all areas of your life, your job, your health. In 1995 to 97, CDC, in collaboration with Kaiser Permanente, conducted a survey where they explored the effects of childhood trauma on the behaviors and well being of adults. And they surveyed over 17,000 adults. Yes, and discovered that two-thirds report having at least one adverse childhood experiences. They call it ACEs now, adverse childhood experiences.
Okay.
And one-fifth admits to having three or more adverse childhood experiences, whether it be sexual abuse, domestic violence in the home,
Mm-hmm.
physical abuse, neglect, and how that shows up in the adult life. They are suffering from cardiac disease, respiratory
Are
disease,
you serious?
substance abuse, drugs and alcohol, mental health disorders, unwanted pregnancies, a whole gamut of different illnesses. So, unresolved trauma affects your behavior and overall well being. Yeah, the things
Uh
we go through in life.
uh-huh.
Yes,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I thought so.
yes,
Um as a couple, when we dealing with a couple, right? Whether they married or going together, boyfriend and girlfriend for over 30 years. Now, I'm not gonna say men are, it's some men SA survivors also. Now, I mean, it
yes,
is. Let's keep it 100. It's not only us women. Men be abused also.
yes.
Um, because I had somebody say this. Um, they don't want to share that information with their well, they're not married yet, but they're engaged. They don't want to share that with her fiance. And I asked why. And see, this is what happens when we allow one person to mess us up for the next person. I'm saying it, say this because she said she don't want it to turn out like it did with the last person, because what he did, he threw it on her face when they got to arguing. So and so and so, what they did, so and so, so you deserved it. Okay. So now that got her scared. She wants to tell her fiance about it. She do. But she is so scared that he might come and say the same. What did you have? You must have had someone to make the person. She's afraid. What would you say to that? If and I hope she's looking and listening. Yes, I say I ain't call your name, but
So disclosing is totally up to the survivor, 100% up to the survivor. So what I do with my clients is I help them find trust, love, and intimacy in their relationship. Because when you have been traumatized like that, you have trust prob issues, intimacy issues, loving yourself or others, intimacy with yourself or others. So I help with that, but it has to be up to that survivor if he or she wants to disclose to the spouse.
And see, that's the thing. She's afraid that that other person messed her up. Now she loved him just that much. She wanted to share that, but she's afraid that he might
Yes,
come out his mouth and say the same thing.
yes, and I've heard of many cases like that. But you have to come to the point where you trust that person and want to disclose, and learn how to develop the conversation, plan the conversation, when, how, and if you feel connected enough to that person to disclose.
What would you say? I got them coming now. What would you say to someone or a couple or engaged couple or married couple where the woman has just stopped being intimate, just stop, and it's because of the trauma. Okay, it's because of the trauma. Um, what do you say to that? What do you? I mean, because what you do is help women SA survivors get back to that. Let's talk
Yes.
about that. Let's talk about that.
Oh, well, when I get at first with clients, I get them on a call we get to know
Yeah.
each other, because
Mm-hmm.
not everyone who contacts me is a candidate for me, or we may not gel. She may need something
Exactly.
that I may not be able to provide, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the right coach. So first we get on a call, and I find out where they are on their journey, the resources they need, and customize a plan for the person. So I would encourage her to seek support, to learn how to, get past the blockage that she's having. But she would need some kind of support, coaching, or therapy to get through that.
And see, the thing with that, she's never disclosed to her husband. She's never disclosed why. She's never told him why. She just stopped. She
Yeah.
just she just stopped. And her fear is him having an affair. And but like I told her, I said, well, you're gonna have to come to a point where if you decide when you're comfortable, like you said, when you're comfortable enough to go on and let him know. Don't let him think it's another man involved, because it's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah, all
It's
you can do is be there for her and support her, hold space with her, encourage
mm-hmm.
her to seek the appropriate support to work through what she's experiencing.
Now I'm very sure somebody out there listening probably going through this, or know somebody that's going through it, but it still goes back what you said, Marie. You have to be comfortable and ready to share that type of personal and sensitive information to that person, to your lover, or your partner. You got to be ready for that. And then that partner also got to be ready to receive it, but receive it with love, and not, oh yeah, now I got somebody to throw in the face after a while, because there's some people like that.
Yes,
It's
it
just some people,
happens.
and excuse me, and I never understood that. Why when I be vulnerable with you, I'm sitting here pouring my heart out and crying and finally breaking down and telling you what happened to me 4, 5 years from now. Me and you get to argue. Now you throwing it up in my face. That
That's
is the worst.
unfortunate.
That's the worst thing anybody can do. Anybody
Yes,
can do. All
yes,
right. So when you being a SA nurse examiner, right? Um, when you first got into doing that, right? Has your mind concept, has your concept changed from the first time you started? If that's why you started your mission, when you started, seeing women. Let me ask you something. Have any men ever came in there?
yes. Male and female,
Really?
different ages. Yes,
Wow.
yes. There are more men men survivors than you may believe.
Wow. So that was your mission when you started doing that. When you realized you had to, it was this, you had to do something.
Yes, as a survivor myself, and
Mm-hmm.
how I struggled
Mm-hmm.
before I found the tools and techniques that helped me overcome, my unresolved trauma. Then I saw the need, so I stepped in to help women find trust, intimacy, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
love within their relationships. Yes,
And it can be done, y'all.
it
It
is
can be brought
possible. I
back.
have, I have
It
a
can.
beautiful marriage, trust, love, intimacy, and beyond.
And beyond, exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's possible, and help is available.
Is yes, and that's what your book, Things That Keep Me Up at Night,
Yes, that's
um
my memoir.
that's your memoir. When you decide to tell it at the age that you recently revealed that you decided, how it happened, right?
Hmm.
Um, but as a child, you never said anything.
No,
Oh,
never occurred to me as a child. You know, as parents, we tell our children should be seen and not heard.
yes,
Don't
yes.
let anyone touch you here. Don't let anyone do this.
Mm-hmm.
So when things happen, the child may feel, oh my gosh, I let someone touch me. So it's
Right.
my fault. Children should be seen and not heard. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
accustomed to being seen and not heard. So I didn't say to anyone, although there were many adults in the house when it happened, not in the same room, but in the house when it happened. So sometimes what we say to our children, we set them up to be silent victims.
Wow. Did y'all get that just then? Because I just picked that up.
Yes.
Because you are so right. We will tell our children, what goes on in this house, stay in this house. You
Hmm.
said anything. I know my mom said that to me. You
Yeah,
see what I'm
that
saying? She
one too.
said to all of us, you better not you better not shut up, shut up. You don't tell me what's in the house, I'm gonna beat you. You see what I'm saying? So we
Yes.
as children, we walk around here and I had this Uncle Bob and came and did this while you was at work. Well, my mom said, don't say nothing.
Yes.
You
So
see what
you
I'm saying?
don't.
You
Uncle
you
Bob
also
or Uncle Bob or Auntie Sue.
just exactly.
Yes. Go female
Exactly.
perpetrators.
Exactly. And
Yes.
that's the sad part about it.
Yes.
Hey Jewel, welcome in here. Simply Jewel Cosmetics. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I
Yes.
really appreciate it. But let me see. Yeah, thank you for coming in here, Jewel. I really appreciate it. I also want to ask, do you think we as women, we as mothers, when we're telling our kids, the do's and don'ts, the touching, you don't let nobody touch you. How do you feel about using the correct words?
You should use the correct word.
Exactly.
You should. It's vagina.
Exactly.
It's penis.
Exactly. Not no
Yes.
cookie. See, because that teacher, that child coming to school and saying, Uncle Jimmy keep messing with my cookie.
Exactly. Teacher
You see
has
what
no
I'm
clue
saying?
what you mean.
Yes. What are you talking about? Your cookie. You see what I'm saying? So yes, I agree with that too. Now, there's a couple of people that I do know in my circle that they don't agree with that. They feel
No.
like it should no. You say that, call it what it is.
Yeah. The children should be taught what it is
Exactly. They
and
should
keep
be
an
taught those
open
parts.
line of communication so they know. Tell
Mm-hmm.
them what's inappropriate and keep the line of communication open so they can tell you when these things happen and not keeping to themselves in shame, guilt, and self blame.
Exactly. And
Children should not be walking around feeling ashamed, guilty, and blaming themselves from being sexually assaulted or abused in any way.
I watched a movie the other night, and while you was talking, I was hoping I can get it in my head real quick so I can tell y'all what it was. But once I find it again, I'll put it up on here. But and it was a child. Well, she was 15. She was assaulted, right? But what hurted me about that was when she tried to tell the mother, it was a mother's boyfriend. The mother didn't want to hear it, right? Then she came out of her mouth and said this. She's 15 or 16. Maybe you shouldn't have walked around in the house with with the two shorts on.
The mother said that.
The mother said that to the 15, 16-year-old child, right? And she was like, but mom, he mean. You know what I mean? He mean. He did this to me. She didn't want to hear that. So she was in there blaming her child for walking around the house with her shorts on. Whether they was too short, whether they were to her knees, he had no business messing with her, period.
Right. She's a child.
Period.
Yes. And
And
I've
now,
heard of cases, even in Jamaica where I grew up, where a mom walks in, her boyfriend is raping her 14-year-old, and she spanked the child and blamed the child. Yes. Caught them in the act and blamed the child. And it has happened. Yes. Multiple, more than you think. The
oh
child is
my God.
blamed. Child is blamed, not the adult.
Wow. Well, what kind of what go ahead on. Go ahead on.
When an adult crosses the line sexually with a child, that is a crime.
No doubt about it.
That is a crime.
No doubt about it. And it's up to us as parents when we find out about it. A lot of us women, yeah, I'm ready to go there. I'm ready to go there. A lot of us women get involved with men. We got a little piece of a job. We might pay just the phone bill, but they're paying all the other 5 or 6 bills. They're handling all of that. Now you done found out this has happened to your child. Now you're sitting there, you shedding your mouth because you don't want him to go on by his business.
Yeah.
But you're gonna be left with your 1 or 2 children or 3 children paying all 6 of those bills.
Yeah.
I have a
Sacrifice a
problem with
child.
that.
Yes.
I have a problem, and I know somebody personally did this. And
Yes.
the only thing that was said to me, well, I ain't trying. I can't pay all these bills. But are you? Are you? Mm,
I
it's
know.
sad, women. We got to stop doing that.
I know there are certain professions where we're mandatory reporters, and when I go, I speak in
Now, see,
different to
that's
different
me. Mandatory.
audiences
Yeah, yeah.
regarding this topic, and I
Mm-hmm.
encourage people to stop being silent bystanders. When you're aware of this kind of situation, the police should be informed.
Man,
Law enforcement should be informed.
it most definitely. But and my viewers, y'all watching, y'all let me know what y'all think. But it's a lot of us women that's dealing with that. They know has happened to their child or their son or their daughter. They know this has happened, but they say we ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want him to leave. Are you? Or I don't want him to go to jail because now I got to sit here and take care of all of y'all. So what?
Yes.
Really? Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. We gotta wake
85,
up.
85 to 90% of childhood sexual assault survivors know their perpetrators.
Exactly who it is.
Yes.
Walking with them, sleeping in the same house with them, with a mama going to work. The daddy, yeah, I said it, the daddy,
Yep.
sleeping on in
Sometimes
the
it's the
bedroom.
parents. Yep.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's right. That's right. Cause daddies do it to the children too. I'm gonna keep it 100 up here. Y'all know
Yep.
how I do now. And it's sad, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
And
And
I still
the
think,
clergy in the
uh-huh.
church,
Say
in the
it
church,
again for the
from the
one that's sitting
pulpit to
way
the
back there.
pew. Yes. In the schools.
This, yeah, the principal, the janitor, yes. The
Yes.
music teacher, yes.
Yes.
The one that wants you to stay after school, you the only one he want to stay after school to
Yeah.
show you so and so and so. Then after a while, it happens
Yeah. Parents need to keep their eyes open. Watch your children.
all the time, all the time, all the time,
And
y'all.
pay attention. Sometimes there are warning signs. You know your child. Some of the signs that your child is being sexually abused, and a child who has passed the stage of bedwetting revert to wetting bed. That's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Child who is normally quiet is now aggressive, or vice versa. They were very bubbly and now they're withdrawn.
See,
Now
mm-hmm.
they dress different. their diet has changed, their mood has changed. You know, pay attention to the adults that come around your house. How are they interacting with your child? Is this
Mm-hmm.
appropriate?
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to siblings. There are also sibling sexual abuse.
Surely
Pay
is.
attention to Uncle Tom and Auntie Sue. Is the child running away from this person that they normally run towards? What do you
Exactly.
say to them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you stand up and pay attention, or you're telling them to go hug Uncle Tom and Auntie Sue? You
Yep.
know, pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is so true. I've never been the type of mother that we will be at family reunions and stuff. I never been the type of mother that will make my children hug nobody.
Right.
I'll be like, no, that's it, and they can tell you that. I didn't even allow their father to hold them in their lap. And they when they got a little older, nah, we ain't doing all that. We
Yes.
ain't doing all that.
I spoke at an event yesterday, and there was an older gentleman there, and I was talking about the uncle and aunt. And he said when he was growing up, he remembered the girls would the ladies would warn the young girls to stay away from Uncle so and so, and but nobody held him accountable. Nobody held him
See,
accountable. They knew what was
see,
going on, and they said, "Stay away from Uncle so and so."
mm-hmm,
Yes,
mm-hmm. And that's the key word. Nobody's being held accountable. Even now, as now we're growing up. And as a child, that child growing up, now they got, like you said, these traumas they got to deal with. They hear a
yes,
train. I was talking with someone that's been through this. That's an SA survivor, and she told me one day she's gonna come and tell a story, but I'm not rushing her. But she said she remember when it was happening to her, she was hearing a train, right? So
mm.
that's a trigger for her
Oh,
as a
wow,
grown woman now, especially she said when she's laying in the bed and and if she hear a train. But the good thing about it is she shared this with her husband, so her husband know. Okay,
yes.
but that's a trigger for her.
Yes, and
And
we all react differently to or trauma. You know, some people it's a sight, it's a sound,
a
it's
smell.
a touch of a spouse. You know, it's different for
Mm-hmm.
everyone, and we
Mm-hmm.
react differently.
It
Yeah,
Yes, it depends on the way that person held you or came up behind you or put their hands around your neck. If your husband try to come up around you that same way, that's
and
a it. You
and
know,
it may
you know what I'm
trigger.
trying to say, right? I
Yes,
know I'm saying it wrong, but
yes, it triggered the memory. Yeah,
yeah.
and it brings you back to that dark place.
Exactly. Now they don't know especially if you haven't shared this. Grown women now that are SA survivors, if you have not shared with your spouse what's going on with you, and when they come up behind you trying to hold you, and you just fall all to pieces, and probably start crying. Why you touching me like that? If you haven't
Mm.
shared it, they're not gonna know what's wrong. You
Yeah,
see what I'm
or how to
saying?
support you. But as I said and I repeat, it's totally
It's
100%
up
up
to
to the
100%
survivor.
up to
Yeah,
the person.
they have
But
to
what
want to.
But what about when the relationship or the marriage is really about to dissolve because of that? You see what I'm saying? Because of
I do, yeah, I do understand, but it's ultimately the choice of the survivor.
it still come right down to y'all to
Yeah,
the
I
actual
just
survivor's
want
choice.
to let any woman out there who was argument with your spouse, problem with trusting, problem with enjoying intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
loving, healing is available, help is available.
Most
You
definitely.
know, it does
Most
not have to be that way.
most definitely. You can rekindle your relationship and marriage.
Absolutely.
You can rekindle your relationship and marriage because you're looking at one person, you're looking at two second person. You can rekindle your relationship and your marriage. You can,
Yes.
Lord, it can be done. Oh,
And you
Jesus.
can you can get my free guide to get you started at sarecoverygift.com. To get you started, sarecoverygift.com.
Okay, let me put that down here. Free guide. I gotta put my glasses on to type. Gotta put my glasses on.
Yes. Do you want to know how to get the conversation started, how to develop trust with your spouse, how to learn to love again, how to enjoy intimacy with yourself or with others in your relationship? sarecoverygift.com to get you started.
And it's a free guide to what?
To get you started on your road to learning to trust, rekindling intimacy,
Free
learning to love yourself or others, rekindling the intimacy, love, and trust in your life.
guide. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sarecoverygift.com.
Intimacy.
So if you're a woman out there
S
who this conversation resonates with, help is available
S A
and
recovery
you are not alone.
gift.com, right?
Yes.
S A recovery
Yeah, yes
gift.com.
as in Sam, recoverygift.com.
I got it.
Yeah, it's a free guide. Recoverygift.com.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your free guide to rekindling intimacy at my glasses are scratched up or something. S
Mm-hmm.
A recovery gift.com.
.com.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Let me put that in there now. Take that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There it is right there.
Yeah, Jill said she's going over to YouTube because she keeps getting cut out.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry about that, Jewel. Okay.
Thank you, Veronica.
Hey, Veronica. Hey, love. put, put those glasses on.
Mhm.
Hey, Veronica, love. She's
Mhm.
going over to you till she keep getting cut off. Okay, love.
Yes.
Thank you, Jewel. But yeah, I just know in a type of trauma.
Mhm.
Okay, she's on YouTube now. All right. Thank you, but baby. I appreciate that, Jewel.
Yes.
Any type of trauma that you have in your life, and if it's unresolved, you would you would never, to me, be. That's my opinion. I want you to elaborate though. You would never be able to move forward.
And each person is different, and it manifests in different areas of your life. Some people, you can get along with others. You can It affects your job, your health, smoking, mental health, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorders, chronic
Mm.
medical problems, so different. It affects different people in different ways.
And you have to look around. When you look around and see a lot of people out here on drugs, a lot of people that got mental issues going on, you would be surprised where that came from.
Yes.
Because it was not like that.
Yeah,
You would be surprised.
recently I was listening to the news and they were interviewing hospital official here in Florida, and he was talking about how they were building up the hospital. There more children are being diagnosed with mental health disorders as young as 2 years old. two
Are you?
years old, and I was livid. What kind of investigations are they doing before they slap those labels on? Are they investigating if there is any trauma on in the home?
Yes.
Or what are they investigating? What kind of investigation before they slap a label on and start the children on medication? 2 years old being diagnosed with a mental health condition.
And your opinion is, in your opinion, if it was your child, me personally, 2 years old, I'd no medication. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll be asking
Yeah,
questions.
you got to ask questions. No. You see, that's the thing. A lot of them doctors out there wanting to put labels on our kids. and on our family members, really without really digging in. Don't want to do the work.
Yes.
Don't want to do the work. I'm just keeping 100. Don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work.
And remember, sometimes the parents are the source of the trauma. So
Yes.
that's another thing.
And you know what? I mean, I know it's a storyline, but week 4 last, the Young Laresses had something like this in their storyline, right? The little boy, he's going to therapy. His mom and dad, of course, they're separate and everything, but they just bicker with one another, just have all, they can't get along with nothing. So the therapist found, they informed them that he finally revealed that it's them that's causing him his anxiety, that's causing him his
Yes.
worration, that's causing him to, he made the statement, the question, should he have been born? It's his parents. That's what made me think about that when you said that. It sometimes be the parents. And when I
Hmm.
sat there, like I said, I know it's a story, but I sat and I thought about that thing. Yes, you know what? You're right. You will be surprised how some of us as parents is just messing our kids up.
Yes. And
Just messing out mentally, messing our kids up.
yeah, and Veronica has a post a message there that unresolved trauma, the body keeps the score.
Look, I'm about like I gotta put my glasses on. Oh wow! When we Veronica Marsh stated, when we don't heal from trauma, we hold that trauma in our body,
Yes.
and it changes our genes. It's called well, that's a scientific fact. Are you kidding me?
Yes. Yeah. I told you about it. We mentioned the ACEs, the acute childhood experiences, how it manifests in your adulthood, and chronic medical problems, mental health issues. Yes. The body keeps the score. There's a book on that.
Veronica said, "Well said. The body keeps the score."
Yes.
Wow, wow,
I
and
remember I had debilitating abdominal pain. Oh my Lord, forever. No diagnoses. Yes.
really.
Yes. It's, yeah, experienced that for
Did
myself.
y'all hear that? Y'all pay attention.
Yes. And I've
Y'all
had
pay attention.
survivors with similar complaints, heart disease, diabetes, depression, post traumatic stress disorder,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And when we're looking at, in your opinion, um, essay sexual assault survivors or victims, some do make it, some do make it, some do make it out. When I mean make it out, I mean they start thriving. Some
Oh,
do.
yes. Many do.
Right,
Oh,
right.
many do.
But you still gotta, that still gotta want to do it.
Yes.
But
It's a process.
I
But
think
it,
I think that's where a lot of I think that's how a lot of the sex trafficking is going on now. I think those are the ones that the people start zooming in on. Those are the ones that got the trauma. Those are the ones that they, especially they know the person. You'd be surprised who know your business and they know that you got some issues, and
well,
they're gonna start.
it's traumatic. Whether you're trafficked or not, sexual
Mm-hmm.
assault is traumatic for, anyone who goes through that horrific crime. The trafficking is when there's a money and force,
Mm-hmm.
and when there's a monetary gain in it. But sexual assault is traumatic for everyone.
Jewel said, yes, trauma can cause disease. I did not know that. I'm learning. I don't know about y'all that's watching and listening, gonna be watching the replay, but I'm learning something. I did not know that. Yes, trauma can cause disease. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Wow. I guess because it sits there and just festers and festers and festers and festers.
Yes.
Wow.
Stress skills.
Well, yeah, it definitely. Now that's what we've learned all our life. Stress will kill you. It
Yes.
would do that. I got a question about your book, your free journal. Can you give one or two your free intimacy guide? Excuse me, your free guide to intimacy. Can you give like one or two items in there that you have concerning that?
Yeah, one other thing I encourage survivors to is to journal their triggers. Does it happen at
Oh.
a certain time? How long does it last? And the effect it has on them, and how did they feel about it at the time? So, like a history of the anatomy of the trigger, so they can track it and see, um, and techniques to minimize the effects of the trigger. So those are some of the things I have. How to communicate, to
Mhm.
develop a good communication with disclosing to your spouse. How to learn to build trust again. How to learn
Yeah,
to enjoy
that's the main
intimacy.
one right there, building that trust back again.
Yes, because
That's the main one.
yeah, trust when it's broken, it's not easily um, revived.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Miss Veronica, she said it's a soul body mind connection. We
yes.
cannot separate that. To try
Mm-mm.
to separate that is like trying to separate wet from what. Oh Jesus, you will
Trying to
never
separate up wet
wet
from
from
water.
water. Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
that's a very good way to put it,
Yes,
Veronica.
mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Yes,
Wow, it's the soul body mind connection. Wow.
yes,
I am learning something, y'all. I'm sorry. I
yes,
really am. I am, and I'm really learning something. And as
yes,
we stated before, this is not a conversation. It's just gonna stop here. This is a conversation need to continue on because as stated before, a lot of voices are not being heard,
yeah.
and you will be surprised. Your story, somebody that's watching
Hmm.
live or gonna watch the replay, you never know. Your story can help somebody. It may help
Yes,
somebody. It may
there's
trigger.
power in stories, in your story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Your story may trigger somebody to be like, you know what? I heard Marie's story. It's time me to go on and tell what happened to me. You'll be surprised how somebody's story will give you that little nudge to go ahead on and let your voice be heard
yes.
and
When
let
I
you put.
started sharing mine, I didn't know the impact it would have, and I didn't think about it until people started sharing with me their story because I shared mine. People started seeking healing,
See,
yeah, when they started sharing their story.
see, exactly. So
Yes.
don't feel like, because I had somebody that wanted to come on, and this was last week when I was talking with her, and she was like she didn't feel like her story was worth anything, was worth
Mm,
telling, and that's why I brought this up because I told her, I said, no, don't you ever feel your story. And she's doing real good,
hmm.
in life. I told her, I said, don't you ever feel your story is not worth telling
Yes.
because it is. You would be surprised. I mean, I said, you sit here telling me, what happened and how she triumphed and everything. You see what I'm saying? She's doing really good. I
Hallelujah.
said, and that was so inspiring me just sitting here listen. I said, just sitting here listening at you. I said, I pretty got goosebumps, which I did. And she was telling me because somebody been through something that horrific, what she been through, and she's doing very good. Now, not to say she don't have her good days and bad days,
We
because
all do.
we all, you're right, we all do. We all do.
But it's having the tools and techniques to manage our triggers when they do come.
See, that's the thing, being able to get your hands on some tools. You see what I'm saying? Being
Yeah.
able to get your hands either digitally on some tools to help. Okay, let me see what I got to do here. Or like you stated, journal some things. I think that's a very good idea too, to start
Yes.
journaling. And I used to write letters, and I said I want to start a chain of people doing this, and see what everybody gonna get on Zoom and see what everybody gonna say. Write a letter to your child self,
Mhm. Yep, that's a
and,
good
and,
one.
and be honest, and we get on Zoom. And because I about 5 or 6 years ago I got involved with somebody that did that. That's what gave me that idea, right? And that was an eye opener for me.
Yeah.
Why I said it was an eye opener, because as I was reading my, as I'm listening to people read theirs and all, everybody crying, of course, I realized I wasn't the only one.
See,
Okay,
the power in stories. You are
the
not
power in
alone.
stories. I sat and waited my turn, and I'm sitting here listening, and I'm looking and listening at people tell their stories, the people crying, and then then what would you tell yourself now, right? You had to talk about what you tell yourself now. But then when I sat there and I was thinking, I said, wow, I'm not the only one.
Yep, you're not alone.
And I was sitting there reluctant to share mine.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Wow.
Hmm.
You're not alone.
No,
You're
you're
not
not
alone.
alone.
Y'all are not alone. So don't ever feel like you are, because you're not. And you can, as Marie stated, you can heal from this. You
Yes.
can. You
Sexual
can get your
assault is not
marriage
a
back.
sexual assault is not a life sentence. You are not your trauma.
Say that again for them folks who way in the back that don't believe you.
Sexual assault is not a life sentence. You are not your trauma.
You are not your trauma,
You
and
are
it's
not
not,
your trauma.
and it wasn't your fault
It
at all.
wasn't your fault.
Mm-mm.
As
Mm-mm.
I said, even if you were wearing a miniskirt, what you were wearing is not an excuse
Mm-hmm.
for someone to sexually assault you.
Exactly.
I've had survivors who came into the ER because they went drinking with someone and had too much. They were taken advantage of. It's not your fault. You should be able to go out and drink with someone if you want. If
Wow.
you're if you're drunk, you don't have the capacity to consent.
Mm-hmm.
The absence of no does not mean consent. The fact that you froze and didn't resist is not consent. Consent is a conversation, an enthusiastic
Tell it.
yes, let us do this. And if at any point I
Tell
change
it.
my mind, you don't have consent to go any further.
There you go. Tell it.
Exactly.
Now she broke that down very clear for y'all. What consent really means.
Yes.
Just because what you said, just because you froze up, what that don't mean okay. Let's do this.
Yes.
No, no. It's a conversation.
Yes. And
Veronica, she said,
no is a full sentence.
"Thank you."
And
No.
if you didn't say no, that doesn't mean you said yes. The absence of no is not consent.
Mm, 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 mm.
Consent is like a cake, layer by layer. So if I'm
Wow.
in the car and I'm necking and I consent, that's not consent for what happens outside the car
Come on now.
or when we get to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
There need to be conversation ongoing,
Wow.
enthusiastic, not maybe, not nodding or not sure. If
Mm-hmm.
it's not enthusiastic, it's not consent.
Come on now. You better tell it. Y'all heard it, right? Veronica said, they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, their
Amen.
story. It's like, wow, I'm not alone. Finally, someone who understands. Oh my God. And I really felt that. I mean, no harm, I did.
Mm.
When we share our story and empower others to share theirs.
Oh, she's
That's
giving
what
me,
this platform is about.
yes,
I'm
she's giving
about
me
getting people
goosebumps.
up here. Yes, this is what I'm about. I'm about getting people up here. If it be their first time, I'm holding their hand, virtually holding their hand while they're telling their story. That right there alone is a start. It's a
Yes.
start of your healing process, because why? You up here for the very first time telling what happened to you.
Yes.
Am I right or wrong, Marie?
No, you're right. You're
Mm-hmm.
right. You're right.
That's your healing. That's your start. That's your start of
That's
your
it.
healing journey.
No more secret. You
No
know,
more secrets.
shame, guilt, and self blame thrives in secrecy. Because the little voice that's constantly hammering, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you are dirty. And then you
Yes.
start
Ooh,
believing all
Jesus.
these things and it become like facts to you
Mm-hmm.
until you start talking about it. breaking the silence, secret no more. And then it's like, oh my God, what a relief. When I
Exactly.
disclose, it was a relief because I'm
Yes.
not walking around with that burden anymore of, oh, nobody's going to find out. I disclose it. So now everybody knows and I don't have to keep it in anymore.
And nothing can feel so much no gooder than when you've been holding this secret. It's been sitting right there in the pit of your stomach.
Hmm.
Every time you want to say something, you say, "No, I ain't saying that." Five
Yes.
more years done passed by.
Yes.
Every
And many
time you at the
opportunities, many
yes, good
opportunities.
opportunities, exactly. 10 more years done passed by. 30 years done passed by. But one day you sitting there amongst everybody playing cards, playing dominoes, everybody having a good time, and you just stare it up and say, the person, your perpetrator sitting right there. You point at that person. Just want to let y'all know when I was so and so age, this person right here did so to me
Yes.
several times from the age of 5 to the age of 13.
Yes. I've heard of
Mama,
those.
mama, you will be at work. You will be at work. You will have him to come over and keep me. Remember? This is what, see, now you're telling it now. You're
Yes.
telling it now. That now what you're doing, you shedding
Yes.
all of that off of you.
Yes.
Nothing feels so much better, so much good when you done got that out of the pit of your stomach.
Yes. And I want survivors to know there's no time frame. It's when you
Exactly.
are ready.
There we go. That's
It's
right.
when you are ready. When I disclosed I was 59, I had a childhood friend attacked me on Facebook. She was like, "Oh, now you're almost 60 and you're coming up with this story." I'm like, "Yeah, this
Are
is
you
when I clicked."
serious?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. And some people are told when they disclose, just get over it. It's been 40 years, it's been 30
Yeah,
years.
I heard somebody say
There
that
is
to
no just
someone.
get
Yep.
over it. And
Yep.
it's in your time when you are ready.
You can't get over trauma.
Yeah.
You cannot get. I had someone to say that you can't get over trauma. Whatever kind of trauma it was, whether it was essay, whether it was verbal abuse, somebody could say something to you in a certain way, and it will stick with you the rest of your life
Yes.
because it was the way they said it. You
Yes.
remember their facial expression when they were saying it. You remember them having their mouth balled up while they were saying it. That's trauma.
Yes. And
That will
something
stick
may
to
be
you.
traumatic for me and not for you, but yeah.
Veronica, she said necking, LOL. What's necking? When you were saying about necking in the car,
Oops.
she said, what's necking? Oh, I know about that. And she also said,
Thank you,
Maria
Veronica.
Mckenzie, my husband said he really enjoyed your book. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
You
Yes.
heard, you see that? All right.
Veronica, you remembered necking.
Yes, you do.
You
Because I
came
remember
out with the
necking.
icky. You came out with the
Exactly.
icky.
That's right. That's right. That's you know Veronica. You
Thank
already
you,
know.
Jill. Thank you, Jill, for stopping
Jewel
by.
said, gotta go, ladies. For those who want to get through horrific trauma, please reach out to Marie. Take control of your healing and trust. Believe in people to find platforms to heal. Exactly. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you
Have
for
a good
coming,
night.
Jewel.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me see. She said, stay encouraged, people. Thank you, Jewel.
Thank you.
And she said, good job, ladies. Thank you. I appreciate that. But you're right. The statement you made is no time limit on this.
Yep.
You don't have to. And if you 5 or 6 years old, you got some kids that tell it, and here it is again.
Yes.
It's not believed though.
When you're not believed, just keep telling
Just
the
keep
next
telling. Just
person.
keep telling.
As long
Tell.
as you're safe, you want to make sure you're safe.
That's the key word. As long as you are safe.
Safety is
Exactly.
important. Yes.
Exactly. It's very important. What would you, in closing? Because I told him I'm gonna keep it on. 'Cause I know you don't feel good. In closing, what you want to say? I'm gonna give you 3 4 minutes. What you want to say? Why I drink
Healing
my
is
drink.
healing is possible. Sexual assault is not a life sentence. If you're a woman out there in a relationship, arguing with your spouse, difficulty trusting, accepting, embracing intimacy, accepting love, Grab my free guide, sarecoverygift.com. Help is available. You are not alone.
You're not alone. And the bottom line, you still got to do the work.
You got to do the
Got
work.
to do the work.
Yes.
Both partners got to be willing to do the work.
Yes. You
Once,
got to do the
especially
work.
once the person reveal what happened, now your partner got to be willing to do the work with you, so y'all can continue and y'all can come together with this thing. You see what I'm saying? Get that intimacy back. And a lot of people think when you use the word intimacy, y'all excuse my tongue twisting up. Intimacy, it is not always sexual, y'all. I
Mm-mm.
told y'all intimacy can be an example. Hubby driving a car. He's driving a car and he got his hand on the stick shift right there. Yes,
Respect, respect,
come on now, come on.
kindness. Yes.
Yes, and he got his hands right there on the car gear. You just take your hand and put it on his while he driving, and you got your thumb just rubbing his hand. That's intimate. That's an intimate time right there. It don't
Yeah.
always have to be sexual. Or if you're in the kitchen cooking, and he see the potatoes on the table, and he comes in there and join you, put his apron around, and he join you. He put in the potatoes for you. That's an intimate moment for you.
Yep. It starts in the kitchen.
Come on now.
Yes.
Cooking it up,
And
right?
also intimacy with yourself, learning to love and accept
You got
yourself.
to. You got
Most
to.
importantly, yourself, intimacy
And
with
and that,
yourself.
and I can be honest because I talk about myself. It took me a while to start about loving me. It did. It did.
A lot of survivors have issues with accepting themselves, the body that you've been walking around with, the crime scene. That's the only crime
There
where
you
you
go.
walk
There's the
around with the
crime
crime
scene.
scene.
Exactly.
So sometimes some survivors like, there's not enough soap to wash me off to make me feel
Yeah.
clean again,
Yeah.
you know.
hmm
So it takes some work to start seeing yourself as lovable, respecting yourself again and loving
Exactly.
the body you're in. So,
Exactly.
and even if your spouse do not want to work with you, it's your responsibility to work on
On
yourself.
yourself.
With or
Exactly.
with, yes,
Because you got to do it. You
you got
got
to
to
do
do
it.
it. I
So,
fought and scratched to get back to loving me, and I've always said, and I'm not a vain person. I would never be that way. But I love me some me. I
yep.
do. I love me some me.
I love me some me. I love that.
Yes, I love me some me, and that's why I am like I am now. That's why I wear my crown, because I love me some me. And I've
Yes.
always said, no one will ever take that away from me again.
Right.
Would never, ever, ever do that.
Kudos to you.
Okay?
Kudos.
Nobody would
You do,
ever, ever do
you've
that.
done the work.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I did.
Yes.
So with that being said, y'all make sure y'all link up with Marie. Allow her to help you get back on the right track. It's not gonna hurt contacting her. Y'all have a conversation. Like she openly said, you may be a fit, you may not.
Yes.
Honestly, she was honest enough to say that.
Yes.
But it's a choice. You
Yes.
got a choice. You got a woman right here sitting in front of you that this is what she does.
Yes.
And don't come.
sarecoverygift.com.
There it is right there. And is it a number or way they can contact you also through that all
Yes.
okay.
sarecoverygift.com. Yes.
Okay. You can contact her, you can get your free book, your free book,
Guide.
all of that. Okay.
Okay.
I love you, sweetheart.
Thank you so
I know
much.
you don't feel good, but thank you for coming in here.
You
Y'all,
know
she
what? The conversation started and I forgot about how I felt. 'Cause this is important. This
yeah,
is my
yeah.
purpose.
And
Yes.
we're gonna keep this. I'm telling y'all, we're gonna keep this conversation going. Y'all get ready. Like I said, the
365,
Unheard Voices
24/7.
series. Yes, Unheard Voices series. We're not gonna stop. All right.
Yes.
Thank y'all for coming. Y'all know I appreciate it. Thank y'all for those that
Thank you,
hung in here
Veronica.
with
Thank
us.
you, Joel, and
Y'all know
everyone
I
who's
thank you,
listening.
Jewel. Thank you, Veronica. Thank y'all for coming up in here. Y'all know I appreciate it. Y'all already know that. Look, y'all have a good day. Thank you for coming. Please make sure you go to my page and give me a review.